So I'm just going to jump right into it. This is something I've noticed in the Halo community, especially on Twitter. This could just be an internet thing or a Twitter problem. Maybe people choose to read tweets in the most disingenuous way possible. Now, I'm not perfect. We can all misunderstand things sometimes. Sometimes people just choose to twist things into the most disingenuous way possible, bordering on a straw man. But let's look at a Halo modder and a longtime contributor, Zed. A shirt is offered. You can buy it now for $50 or crawl naked through a mile of broken glass and rusty nails and get it for free. You can also pay $50 a yard to reduce the crawl. You can also ignore the shirt while arguing it's free online. After 10 years, the shirt vanishes. That was his tweet that got him a lot of shit. Now I understand hyperbole is hard, but I guess I'll have to break this down a little bit. But before I do, leave a like to help out my channel. It really helps pushing out the video to a lot of people. Zed's tweet is in reference to the Halo Infinite shop where it requires like 75k on the low end and 150k Spartan points per armor set for Locke's team. Now, mind you, the math on getting this set is a little insane, especially if you remove the weeklies that give 1,000 Spartan points and the challenges that give you like 100, 150 Spartan points, and you get like 100 every other game if you don't have the battle pass leveled, I want to say. So doing the math though, so let's just break this down real quick. Just for the sake of the math, we're going to say you get 100 every game. So every 10 games gets you 1,000, every 100 games gets you 10,000, and every 1,000 games gets you 100k. And that's wild. Let's assume every game runs exactly 5 minutes, and that's 5,000 hours without challenges or dailies or the weeklies. Now that number probably close to halves when you include all of those, but 5,000 hours breaks down to about 208 days or 6 to 7 months of gameplay. And that's an absurd amount of time to play when you can just pay $50 and get the armor. And that was his point. It's not the same system that was back in the classic Halos, but the comments were flooded with can get things with just playing the game, but complains about being able to do this. What happened to, I just want to be able to earn things in game. Just bad faith retort after bad faith retort. What people are talking about when they say they want to be able to earn things in game is usually in reference to it being tied to an achievement, and the achievement being a challenge of some kind, and for completing it, it offers you a piece of armor. Now, not all of the armor challenges were the same. Some were beating it on legendary, some were endure challenges. But all the same, if you wanted the armor piece, you felt rewarded for getting it. And if you wanted to be a collector, you felt rewarded for getting all the armors. Having to sit and play the game for thousands of hours or shelling out 50 doll hairs to get it is not the same as tying it to an achievement or challenge. It's not a challenge to play the game for thousands of hours. Well, I say this, but I'm not gonna lie, it would test my mental only playing Halo for thousands of hours to unlock an armor set. This is why I wish Halo would move back to a pay-to-play model, in the sense that you pay your $60, you get a full game and all the armors, then the DLC map packs. This is all I ask for. I don't like the nickel and diming the store does for cosmetics. The free stuff, while some of it is cool, most of it is just kinda meh. There are very few free pieces that are cool. Now, they have introduced the Spartan Points shop that allows you to earn currency to get armor you'd normally have to pay for. But unless you really only play Halo, it's a painfully slow way to earn any armor piece you'd want. Now, another aspect of portions of the community being bad faith is the sprint debate. The great sprint debate that has been going on since Halo Reach. Anytime sprint comes up on Twitter, you have one side calling the other side fat and saying who cares, it's just sprint. And every game has sprint now, so why can't Halo? And then you have the other side calling them retards and saying sprint doesn't belong in Halo because it messes with the core gameplay loop, and in the campaign it would fuck up tension and atmosphere. Now, I want to be charitable and fair. Sprint isn't bad inherently, and if Halo designed a game well around sprint, Halo 5, it could be great gameplay. Hell, I even enjoy Call of Duty Battlefield, Counter-Strike, games with movement mechanics. I just think that there are times and places for some things, and Halo isn't one of them. There are trade-offs that can be ignored. Maps must be made bigger and account for any extra movement options. If guns aren't hit scan, you'll have to change the speed of the projectiles. AI behaviors have to change to account for the player to literally be able to run at them like a train. It isn't just a binary sprint or no sprint. And I've already gone into this into my previous video. If I remember, I'll add a card at the end or at this point in the video with my issues on the remake. I don't want this to come off as like me just bitching about the community, but I genuinely believe that you are a lobotomy if your only argument for sprint being in Halo is that it's in every game now, so why shouldn't Halo have it? If you don't like it, don't play it, or you must be fat if you think a super soldier shouldn't be able to sprint or wouldn't be able to sprint. These are lame arguments, and it's not much better than me just yelling at you and calling you a retard. So let me just take a moment and try and articulate how Sprint could work well in Halo. What would need to happen? The environments and multiplayer maps would need to be larger and close to the size of Halo 5's maps, and if we include the clamber, there would need to be some cool skill jumps for players to do. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos or clips of skill jumps that people do in any of the Halos, but Halo 5 had some cool ones, especially with the little boost the aiming would give on a jump. It allowed for a lot of cool skill expression and added another skill ceiling. Weapons would probably need to be hit scan. It would just make life significantly easier on the devs end, but if the projectiles were added, it would add a skill ceiling to having to lead the shots on an enemy a little bit further away. They also would need to make vehicles faster and a bit tankier to not make them redundant or something you do just cuz. There's more you could argue for, but if y'all responded with something more like this, I think a lot of people would have less of a problem, and it comes off a lot more articulate than, ha, you're fat, you can't relate to someone that can run, or who cares, it's just Sprint, why does that matter? See how lazy those two arguments are compared to the former? I'm not saying that mine is great, but I actually applied some effort into thinking about the mechanics. It's just frustrating when one side that cares about the game takes any criticism as hating the game. I'm going to speak for myself here. I'm not going to pretend that there aren't people that just hate Halo Studios because they think that they're woke or because that they ruined Halo. I don't agree with that sentiment. Hell, I think 4 had a good story. I liked 5's gameplay, and I think Infinite did well ordering the two of like what Halo fans want from previous games and what new fans like. My point with this though is that they do some things right. Halo Studios can make good Halo games, so they can do good aspects of a Halo game, but then they'll do things where it just turns people off of the game altogether. Halo Infinite took forever to get updated and the updates were slow. Halo 5 had tons of microtransactions and the focus was on Warzone. Though Warzone wasn't bad, it's just the whole rec system annoyed players. And Halo 4 had the whole sprint thing at first, and then Chief speaking and becoming more of a character, and that alienated some fans who liked him as more of a silent protagonist. There's just a ton of things that Halo Studios will do where they'll make 2 steps forward, but then they'll take 3 or 4 steps back in certain areas, and it's just incredibly frustrating. I even think Halo Infinite nailed the campaign with the characters and Chief. Now, you could argue that they should have gotten rid of the open world, as it's just a vehicle for you to go from mission to mission. But hell, I think if it was a building block for what they could do in, say, the Combat Evolved remake. Now, hear me out for a second, about to go on a little bit of a crazy rant, but stick with me here. Imagine Halo CE, but with an open world style of Halo Infinite, with wildlife. Alright, I'll let you stew on that one. There seems to be a divide if you started with the original trilogy or started with 4. If your first Halo you played was 4 and it had Sprint, you may just think, why does it matter? It's just Sprint. Every game since Reach has been built with Sprint in mind, but every game since has been in a cultural decline. Coincidence? I think not. Halo has always sold well and still has players, don't get me wrong, but the player base isn't at the same heights and always has had a steep decline soon after launch. While Halo has a competitive side, it has neglected what has made Halo a popular game where you can get 16 of your buddies together in a custom game lobby, fucking around with custom game modes that act as party games. That is peak Halo. As much as I love competitive esports, some of the best times I've had in Halo, and hell, all of gaming, was playing with 15 other people in custom games as a kid. And hell, it even still holds true today as an adult with your group of friends. Get 3 or 4 of your other buddies and boot up Halo Infinite and play whack-a-mole. It's actually pretty fun, even if only for 5 minutes, but it's a microcosm of what Halo is. For the past 2 Halos, the thing that has enabled this hasn't been there at launch. Now, the past 2 iterations of Forge have been the best we've ever seen, but it's a shame it's been neglected without a massive audience to play it and to push it to the max. I genuinely believe that if Forge was in at launch, the player base would have been well above 30k on Steam for a long time, and it would have stayed well within the top 10 monthly played. That's what Halo deserves, not push out to make microtransaction money in the holiday season. Let it be said that that part is on Microsoft. The neglect doesn't come from Halo Studios solely. They're trying the best with the hand that they're given, and I truly believe that. And I think with proper articulate criticism, we can steer Halo Studios towards a vision that will please longtime fans and still be able to bring in and retain new players. It would also require Microsoft to not get in the way and hamper production. Not force the game to be live service, not force them to put it out to meet some holiday deadline so you can make more money. Let them cook, let them get the game out in time, and hell, I would take a game in a mostly completed state that includes a Forge and theater. It could be a buggy fucking mess. Give us those 2 features at launch and get bug fixes out as quick as possible, and I'd be a happy camper. If you've made it this far, thank you. And hell, you may be wondering what the point of this video was. And I just want the Halo community to be better and make better arguments. That's really it. And also to talk about what makes Halo truly great. It's the community, the party games, being feature complete and pushing boundaries. We shouldn't let lazy arguments fly. We should try to be genuine and hope that those concerns or feelings about the game reach the devs' ears in an articulate way. I shouldn't act like it isn't fun to get an own against somebody online though. If you're still watching my random ramblings at this point, thank you again. And if you could leave a like, it would really help this channel grow. Leave a comment, tell me what you guys think about the Halo community or any fun times you've had in Halo. I'm going to make one more Halo video probably, and then move on to making videos about different games or topics. But sub if you'd like to see more content like this. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.